Okay, this video is going to be a little difficult to start up on. Toxic positivity, I think it's the reason why VR may be dying. Now, of course, it's not dying per se, not within like a year or so, but instead it's on a standstill or in limbo. Hell, even on life support, as some may say, and Meta might pull the plug. Let's be real here. After years of development and upgrades to tech, VR has improved a lot. You know, cameras on our faces, inside of out tracking, standalone gaming without a PC. It's all great and all, but it's not good if we don't get the games that really interest people if we have all this tech. Now, sure, there are great games in VR that really push the boundaries for them and help many consumers enjoy and be entertained, but the issue is because people are not criticizing these games or the devs or even Meta themselves. We're just in a limbo of toxic positivity. What is toxic positivity though? Let's talk about that for a moment. Say for example, your house is on fire and you realize that it's engulfed the entire place in flames. You look around and you see your coffee cup. You pick up the coffee cup and be like, at least I'm going to be able to save this. That's toxic positivity. We are not seeing the downsides of your house being on fire. We're only seeing the good side of, oh, our mug is there. We can still keep that at least. Everything else is gone, but at least we'll have this. No, man, that's not the way to go. Humans are naturally emotional, and you should be emotional that the house that you bought, that you invested in, is now burnt to the ground. Now, if you say right now that, oh, I wouldn't be really worried about my house to begin with, I have insurance or whatever else, bullshit. I guarantee you would be upset if you lost all your possessions, all your items, all your history within that household, all burnt down to the ground. This is what it feels like right now in the VR industry. Everything is up in flames. We got developers leaving, we got developers being fired, Meta's taking control over the entire industry, and they don't really want to make any more VR games. It's a shit show, and we need to address it. We need to talk about it. We need to talk about it, because if we don't talk about it, all we're doing is seeing our fucking VR just be diminished, falling asleep into a limbo state or into a coma state for that matter, considering we haven't had that many games recently that really piqued interest enough for mainstream to pick it up. If we only talk about good things about VR, then we'll get more people to come over. That's a fucking lie. Look, I believe in yin and yang, good and evil, the light and the dark. Neither can exist without one or the other. When we look into VR gaming, Meta is pushing for these content creators and ads to indicate that everything is fine. You know, oh, there's some really cool tech here. You want to see that? You don't want to talk about, you know, the other things of devs getting flopped out from fucking Meta. We don't want to talk about, you know, rushing the devs to try to put something on the standalone headset so they can at least break even. Oh, we definitely didn't make the other content creators talk positively about our headsets and still with them disagreeing with our standards. Oh, and for sure, everyone knows about Meta Horizons. Am I right, guys? It's not just VR chat in the corporate world. Not at all. This is coping at its finest. I think we really need to discuss about these details, this troublesome part of VR, because if we just don't talk about it, it's going to continue on getting worse and worse and worse. And like bottled up emotions, if it's all bottled up together, it's going to burst into fucking flames, and it's not a good thing. The other thing to note is that Meta is just very questionable with their decisions. Why is it that they got rid of Toast Interactive? Why did they remove those games off the platform? Why is it that these other developers are having struggles with communicating with Meta? Why is it a struggle to make PSVR 2 titles? All this shit and more is becoming much more difficult because of corporate greed. There's so many questions to ask, yet none of them will be answered by these guys as well. But I believe that we are in a bad state in VR right now, and I just think we need to just acknowledge it. We don't need to slide it underneath the table. We don't need to get any more money from Meta. If you guys want to make money, whoever content creators are out there are getting money from Meta and not talking shit about it, get your bank. But we need people to talk bad things about Meta, criticize them, talk about the things that they've done that was wrong. Just some solid clarity is all I fucking care about. I don't care if you think I'm right or wrong. We just need clarity on what's really happening, because none of us are talking about it. Shit, I've been on the Meta store so many times that I've seen so many Gorilla Tag clones that it makes me want to go bananas. Pun intended. Now, I'm not saying it's all Meta's fault either. I also think the industry just needs more quality games, and we are getting them now. We're getting a whole bunch of them soon, but recently it's just been Gorilla Tag clones after clones after clones, even a fucking sequel to it with just a little more moderation. We're just getting sequels to games into VR. Shit, we've gotten sequels to games from flat screen games just put into VR. Put Escape from Tarkov into VR. Put fucking DayZ, Rust, Call of Duty, Halo, sort of. All these fucking games, just put them into VR. We'll try to see if they stick, and it sucks because there's no originality. VR is a different platform, yet their content stays the same as a 2D game. Why is that? Why is it that we're making these 2D games be put into VR and not think outside the box of what VR is capable of? You know, VR has depth, right? The only game I can think of right now that will encourage people for using depth to their advantage is Blade and Sorcery, right? You have to extend your arm out or enclose it further to your chest to use the weapon that you are using. And it has this depth, right? It has this depth that VR can use, but no other platforms can. There are so many games out there that have succeeded and can succeed, but what we haven't seen is a singular game that legitimately could get everyone hyped to jump onto VR. We haven't had a game like that in a long while, except for one. It's Fruit Ninja, everybody! It's Half-Life Alyx. Look, there's a lot of great games out there that really bought me into VR as well, like Into the Radius, Breachers VR. Shit, some cozy games got into my system too, but none of them have gotten me excited or hyped up like Alyx. The amount of games that have toppled all over each other just for Alyx to still stay on top of the golden throne to be the standard of what VR games should be is crazy to me. Now, a lot of people are gonna say, oh, you know, there's no way for these developers to be able to make these quality games like Alyx, man. There's no way. Bullshit. Humans made that game. Humans who are flawed and humans who have just tried everything in their power to make it work, and they fucking did. There is no excuse now for these games to not be at that quality anymore. And it's been 5 years. 5 years since that game came out, yet not a single one, not to be rude, but not a single one has gotten to that level of polishedness, that gameplay aesthetic, the way it feels, the atmosphere, everything. Now, I'm not going to dick ride Alyx. It has its flaws. I don't like the movement system that they added. It's just a little dated. But for the time, it somehow still beats out a lot of these other games out there. That's the crazy part. Our standards have dropped so damn low that I feel as though anytime a VR game comes out, I just shrug it off. I do. And I don't mean to say anything about the devs who are making these games. You guys are probably really nice and sweet people, but none of those games have intrigued me, not a single time. Even that new VR showcase, the only one that intrigued me was Forefront, but I barely have any hope that that's going to be optimized well for fucking VR. Standalone, I feel as though it's going to be a pain in the ass, but hey, I could be proven wrong. I don't know the game yet, by all means. But there's other issues as well that are on the horizon aside from just game quality. It's also manipulation of the market. Yes, I'm gonna talk about this. And yes, I don't give a fuck if Combat Waffle Studios is gonna look up to me and say, don't post this video. Fuck you, I could care less. First of all, why is it that Ghost of the Boar on the Meta store doesn't identify as early access, but Grim, on the other hand, is identified as early access, yet on the Steam page store, both of them are identified as early access? That confuses me. What's going on, Combat Waffle? And it's not just that, there's a bunch of other games out there that do the exact same. Identified as non-early access is a full-fledged game, yet they are early access. Our standards are becoming lower now because people are manipulating the fucking market on purpose so they can indicate, yeah, this is a full-fledged game. Give me your $20. It won't be a big deal. Are you fucking kidding? Now look, you can hate me all you want. You could just say, oh, you haven't just seen a game worthwhile in a while, you know? Maybe it's just, you know, games are suggestive to you. Or, hey, we're getting more people and more devs coming into VR so that they can grow the community. It's not gonna die. Sure, you could be right. Well, with the way things have been going and how slow it's been since then, and how bad Meta has been doing so far with other developers, it's not looking good at all. But I want to know your thoughts, okay? I just wanted to rant this out because I feel as though every single time we talk about the good things in VR, we never talk about the bad. We talk about, oh, these games look great. Yeah, we don't talk about how some of these games don't even have content to fill up more than an hour. It's just a struggle. It's a struggle bus right now. And I feel as though there are games out there that do succeed, and I think they're wonderful. I've played some of these games already, and I made videos on them. I think they're great, but they are the top 15% out of the 85 that is in the fucking store. But anyways, I thought I'd just, you know, make a little rant video, talk about this, talk about what it is about VR that's pissing me off right now. And it's just that. It's people being positively toxic, in a sense. I don't like those people, because they don't want to criticize the things that they want to succeed in, and that's a bad thing. We need criticism. Shit, criticize this video. Thumbs it down, upvote it. I could care less. But what I care about is the discussion, and we need to have it. Because if we don't, then we can see VR go bye-bye forever. Well, that's it for me, everyone. Deuces. Take care, y'all. I'll have another video that's a little more positive and something else as well. But I thought I'd just share this with y'all because I feel like it's needed. I feel like it's now the time for everyone to see the reality of what's happening. Anyways, deuces. Take care, y'all.